Good sit. So lift the, you said to hold the prong collar or the plastic collar close up to her ears. Uh-huh. All your hair everywhere. Do you think it might need to be tighter?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then put this
Below it.
below it.
Nice and snug.
And it goes on her throat side, right?
Anywhere to the left or the right of her throat. So not on the immediate center where her
Like
throat
right
is.
here?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good job. God, this thing is so long. I didn't know, do most people cut it?
Yeah, I usually give it a couple of weeks.
What, 2 fingers underneath probably?
So we actually don't go by the finger rule.
Okay.
We just put it as snug as possible and then clasp it.
Okay.
Because since she has that fur,
Uh-huh.
and then we have the 2 probes, if it's too loose, the fur gets in the middle,
Okay.
and we won't have
Do you
good
think
contact.
that this is snug enough? Or no?
That looks pretty good.
Is it? Okay.
And as we go along, they do have special adapters for like dogs with thicker coats.
Okay.
But that's just something, not every dog needs it.
Okay.
So I usually tell people, give it a couple of weeks, and if you start to notice a lot of inconsistencies,
Oh, you're
then you can pick up an adapter.
Okay. Okay, got it. Tuck this. Idgie. Stay. Sit. Stay. Just trying to tuck it somewhere.
Oh yeah, what I do is once you go through all the buckles, you can go backwards into it. There you go.
Did it.
So
Perfect.
here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start at 15.
Okay.
And that's typically where most dogs feel it.
Okay.
This is 15. When I say tap, I'm pressing the button. Okay. Yeah. 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 No response. 20.
What is a response to you?
Like even just like looking
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 No response. 25. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No response. 30. Yeah. 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 Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's- yeah. 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 So she's just starting to kind of feel it. 35. So this is what we would call perception range.
Okay.
Yeah. Right there.
Right there.
Okay. So if you look at her neck, okay, on the left side of her neck, yep. Up, it's okay. So now
Did
we
I
got
do that or you?
It was one of us.
Okay.
So I'm gonna dip it down. We go down to 20 here. From 35. Yeah. Yeah. So subtle reaction. 25. Yeah.
I feel bad.
Okay. 23. 20.
Sit.
Right there. Very good. So what we're looking for is a balance of concern, but not so much the dog is yipping and yelping. So we have connection, perception, and working. Connection is when you see the twitch, but she's not caring about it. So let's say she's staring at a squirrel, and you see this happening, and she's unfazed. Okay. So this is connection. You can see the muscle moving. You know this is working, but she's not caring because she's too focused on the squirrel. Perception would be the twitch, and she's kind of like, and then back to the squirrel again. Okay, and you'll see the twitch, back to the squirrel again. Working level is the twitch and whoa, what's going on, right? You're seeing more concern.
Yeah.
The reason why we're going at the working level is because that's what makes everything important and effective from the get-go. So, in most trainers look at e-collar, they talk about low-level e-collar. Okay? The issue with low-level e-collar is it's not realistic, and it makes the owner, you're not a dog trainer.
Yeah.
I've worked with Lord knows how many dogs over the course of 12 years. Okay, and I've been using this tool for like 95% of the time. So I have a lot of experience in it. So I could do something like that where I could have your dog responding to 8 or whatever, but it's so nuanced, it's hard for the owner to do it. And I've just made it very simple, right? So dogs don't ease each other into things. So if she went to like a dog park or something and she did something to another dog that they did not like, they would just bite her.
Yeah.
They would not have a conversation going, excuse me, I did not like the fact that you barked at me that dog. Okay? They're not like humans. So they would just immediately correct, despite the fact that that was the first move in their head. Okay? So I approach it the same way. I start low, I work my way up until I find a nice balance of concern for the dog. So if you're yelping, it's probably too high. If you're not listening, it's probably too low. So I'm like somewhere in the middle. So we worked our way up to 35. And at 35, because as she's feeling it more, all of a sudden the brain starts to get more sensitive to it. And then you get pulled up and I tap simultaneously. We get that.
Yeah.
So we're like, who was it? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I went down to 20.
Okay.
And then I worked my way up to 25. And it was too much. 23 seemed a bit too much. So I went back down to the 20. Okay. So this is currently what I would deem like the working number.
Okay.
Because in the beginning it wasn't working because she wasn't really caring about it. But once they hit 35, and she's like, whoa.
I know.
This is okay. Now it got her attention, and I was able to bring it back down lower. And this week, it's going to be a bit of low to high every time because you're trying to figure out consistency. So like every time you work with her, let's say you always start at 10, and you end your walk at 25, and at 25, she's a perfect dog, so to speak. Does that help? Exactly. Every time you end at 25, that's probably the number that we should just start off at. We would no longer start at. Okay. So here, what we're going to start with is the heel concept. I'm going to demonstrate it to you and explain it to you, and then I'm going to coach you through it. Okay. And if I remember correctly, reactivity. Reactivity. Gotcha.
Yeah, reactivity, definitely. And it's almost more so after we go out on her 30-foot leash to the field, because I live by all the baseball fields down in South Loop, and it's like after she's totally overstimulated by sniffing everything, and then or skateboarder anytime.
Sure.
She hears that skateboarder and it's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Gotcha. So this should resolve a big chunk of reactivity where you're probably gonna struggle as a skateboarder. Okay. So like, and you could go because there's a skate park right there on Roosevelt, right?
We sit at the skateboard park, and I just try to get her used to the sound. Correct.
The unfortunate thing is, when you go into the skate park, I'm sure she's like great.
Perfect, but when she goes away from the skate park,
right?
Yep.
Because that's completely separate.
Yep.
Okay, so it's like clients and they're like, oh, my dog is great off leash, but terrible on leash with socialization. I go, yeah, because they're two separate contacts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Same thing there. When you're in the skate park, unfortunately, it doesn't actually have an impact on when you're out on the sidewalk.
That's why we don't sit at the skateboard park that much anymore, because she's great. I mean, every once in a while she'll still get a reaction if somebody comes too close in the bubble. But yeah.
Now that you could potentially work to your advantage, but now you have a consequence, okay? Because what you did have before with your star mark collar,
yeah,
right? Except that if her reactivity is too far gone and the crutch with the star mark is not enough to like stop and deter, you're kind of stuck, right?
Yeah.
This is going to allow you to both stop and deter.
Okay.
Okay. So like if you did go to the skate park and she was being reactive, and you use this tool to stop her, you can actually use it as like foundational information, right? Where I go, oh, at 35, she immediately stopped the reactivity at the skateboard. So when I'm on a walk, let's say my number is 20, and I see a skateboarder, I'm gonna think, well, last time I was at 35, I had already jumped to 35, right? And let's say within that moment, 35 doesn't work, then that tells me 35 in this kind of context with the one-off skateboarder isn't working. The next time I see a skateboard like that, I'm at 40. So you're just building off of every experience, but that you could potentially use to your advantage because you're still getting reactivity if they come too close to the bubble. Okay, now if you go and they're like whizzing all around you and she's like, yeah, she doesn't care, then I go, okay.
She's super sensitive, I think, and so I think that if we do work on this, I think it'll calm her down. I mean, like I said, when I put the vibration bark collar on her and it's like a cheap one, I would say within 20 minutes, she never barked again at me.
Oh, sure, gotcha.
So, I mean, she's quick to pick it up, and she's sensitive. So, yeah, like after that one yelp, she's like, okay, normally she'd want to sniff everything, be all over. So I can tell she's like, okay.
Something's going on here.
I got it.
So we're gonna go over to the sidewalk. I'm gonna have you still stay over here as I demonstrate, and I'm gonna move my stuff over a little bit. I'm gonna bring yours as well. All right.
You. I'm gonna set this here if you don't mind.
So,
do you want to hold this?
No. Oh. So I'm gonna like show you, and then I'm gonna walk you through it. Okay. So I'm gonna have you kind of forget the heel stuff that you've done. Okay. Okay. We're gonna reset a little bit. We're not gonna use the word heel this week, even though she already has the concept of it. Yeah. We're gonna delay that a week. Okay. Okay. So there's 3 key directions that I give: turn, tap, and are you gonna teach on the left? Yeah, left. And then pull to your left, okay? So for the first one, every time I say turn, When she gets ahead of you, I'm going to cue that word. You're always going to 180 turn to the right like this. Okay? She passes, I say turn, 180 turn to the right like this. She passes, turn, 180 turn to the right like this. You want to keep it fluid. You don't want to stop, turn, and then go. And we don't want to round it out. Some clients will, when I say turn, they'll make a big wide turn like this.
Okay.
We don't want to do that either. We want to do just a 180 turn, always to the immediate right when I keep moving.
Okay.
So the next thing I'm going to say is tap. I'm going to pair turn and tap together. She hit the head, turn, tap, tap, tap.
And by tap you mean this?
One press of the bumpy button.
Of this button, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the nick function.
Okay, okay. I thought you meant the word tap.
No, yeah. No, every time I say tap,
you say tap.
You'll press.
Okay.
Okay. So she passes you, turn, tap, tap, tap. Good girl. She passes you, turn, tap, tap. Good girl. She passes you, turn, tap, 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 tap. Good girl. Okay.
And I hit it 3 times.
Each tap, each cue of tap is one press.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if I say tap, tap, that would be it. If I say tap, 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 that would be it. But then your rhythm would be faster.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't go tap, 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 or I do tap, 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 tap.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
When I cue tap, that's one press.
Okay, got
it. So I'll give you both your rhythm and the number of taps that you should be doing.
Okay.
When you hear me say good, a good girl, that's more for you, not for her.
Okay.
Okay, so that kind of cues to you what she did in that moment is what I'm looking for. But then also it kind of lets you know, like right now at this particular moment, I'd lay off the pressure. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say is pull to your left. So she may flush to your right side. If she does so, you would keep walking forward. Pull to your left as you're walking forward, and then tap as I say tap to bring her from your right side over to your left side. And then we would stop tapping and we would keep walking. Okay. I will throw in more directions further into the exercise, but in the beginning, those are the 3 major ones. Turn, always 180 turn to the right, quickly and abruptly. Tap, every word of tap is one press of the button. And then pull to your left is slight pressure as I direct you to tap to bring it from your right side over to your left side. Okay? Questions on any of that so far?
No, just basically follow what you tell me to do.
Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody does.
Yeah,
It's not a problem. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is change how we're holding the leash here. She okay with people?
She's normally okay with people. Sometimes she's a little weird, but
Okay. So I just need to show here with the leash. What I like to do is with the left hand, I put the handle over my thumb, and then you're going to just take up some slack here like this, and I just go over my pointer finger and clasp like that.
okay.
Okay. So it's this to this. And then you just close your hand. This is a locking system.
Okay.
Okay, so if she were to randomly yank, even if you had it like this, she's not going to pull that through your thumb. So this also just locks it in itself, like that. And you want to give her enough slack that she can get away from you. So I usually have the leash hang kind of by where the armpit is of the dog. Okay.
That's really long.
Yeah, I know. I usually I wear jeans all the time, so I
Yeah.
put carabiners on mine, so they just go to my belt loop.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Idgie. Wait, did you say you put this through your hand?
So handle
Sorry.
over your left thumb.
Handle, over this left.
Yep, and then you put this over your pointer finger.
This?
Almost. So here, go ahead and open your hand. And in the beginning, it's always kind of weird. There you go. And then you just clasp that.
Okay.
And then it's easy to adjust and take up slack just by moving the leash. Once you get used to it, it's like super effective and efficient. And then if you just relax, you see your leash how it's hanging by her armpit? That would be like the perfect length, so to speak. Okay. So it gives her enough slack that she can get away from you and make mistakes, but not too much that it's gonna get caught underneath her armpits.
I think the collar twisted. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Okay.
All right, so off
This
to the...
hang to the side.
There you go.
Yes.
Go ahead and step onto the sidewalk. Alrighty, and go ahead and move forward. Turn, tap.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Yeah, so
I have to do 2 things at once.
Yeah, so here, no leash popping,
No leash.
It's all through the remote.
Okay.
Okay.
I have to get used to that.
Yeah.
Not. Okay. We'll try this.
Turn, tap, tap, tap. Turn, tap, tap, tap. And you're pressing the bumpy one?
The bumpy one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
says 20 on here.
That's going to go to 25.
That goes 25 like
On the dial, clockwise goes up, counterclockwise goes down.
25?
Yeah, and if you land 24, 26, that's fine.
Okay.
Just general range. Yep.
Got it.
And then relax and forward. Pull to your left, tap. Good. Keep forward. Mm-hmm. Good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Go ahead and bump it to 30. She okay with bikes?
Sometimes.
Okay, just because we have bikes coming here.
We're just
Tap. Good.
Just keep going on the same path.
Good. And then back to the sidewalk.
Yeah, she's really interesting. 95% of the time she's good at things, and all of a sudden something will trigger.
Something happens. Yeah. Forward. Turn. Tap. 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 35. Tap. 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 Bumpy button you're pressing, right? Just double checking.
Bumpy button.
Okay.
Yep.
40. I think it's shifted.
Like the collar itself.
Yeah, it's okay. Yep, tap.
I don't hit the pager thing?
No.
Okay, hit
Yeah.
the button.
Yep.
Okay.
Tap. 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 45. So whenever you hit, like, you get little trouble spots like this, it's easy to do it when you're stationary because it's super obvious
can
here.
watch her.
Yeah, tap. 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 Bump it 5.
It must have shifted. Should I move it again?
You could try making it more snug.
Feels pretty snug on her skin.
It might be her fur.
Okay.
So,
Just try it again.
let me see. I'll do it.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so 45. Yeah. Yeah. 50. Yeah. Yeah. 55. Yeah. 60. Yeah.
Is that,
65. Yeah. 72.
does that mean it's not
80.
working?
Right there.
There, I saw here.
87.
Is that normal for it to be that high?
It's either because it's too loose or it's because of the fur.
Oh.
Remember earlier when I said there's
Yeah.
an adapter?
Uh-huh. Is it a plastic adapter?
No, it's a metal adapter.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. They gave a plastic adapter, and I didn't know what it was. I
Oh,
brought it with
that's
me.
to check that there's a current.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Okay. I threw it in my bag because I was like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah, so I'm at 35 now. Tap. No response, 42. Tap. No response, 48. Tap. No response, 58. Tap. There it is.
There it is. I saw it.
You saw it switch,
Yeah.
right? 63, 69, 74,
I see you're twitching.
right? But you see how like she's not caring about it.
No.
And we're up there.
Is that
82.
normal for her size to not?
The size doesn't matter.
Oh, there you go.
80, 94. Yeah. 103.
I can feel her body twitching.
I know. But if you look at her, she's completely unfazed. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to 65.
Like I'm afraid to have it up that high.
We're gonna start at 71. So here, she's not giving us a real response. Okay.
Okay.
Once she starts moving, it'll make things a bit easier.
Okay.
But this is why I tell people size does not matter.
Okay.
Okay.
How high can it go?
127.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So here, size doesn't matter. I mean, I have a dog that's half her size, and her number's 8.
Okay.
And I have another dog, same breed, same size. His number's 18.
Okay.
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 So different size, different personality type, all that stuff. You know, you can have a Rottweiler be on 10.
I just think it's crazy she yelped at 35 earlier.
Surprised.
Oh.
Because she's never felt that before.
Yeah.
So yelping doesn't always mean physical discomfort. It can mean surprise, it can mean frustration, or it can mean physical discomfort.
Okay. Okay.
So it's going to give back that slack,
Okay.
but now we got connection. Because that's the main thing. Because if you're tapping and you don't know if you have connection or not, then we can't really judge what's working and not working. Okay? So go ahead and move forward. Tap. Good. Go ahead and shorten your leash just a wee bit. There you go. There you go. You got it. Yep. Forward. Good.
Sorry.
Keep forward. Tap. There we go. Good. Turn. Tap. 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 Pull to your left. Tap. Tap.
Oh wait, what? The left
Tap.
pull it, right?
Yep. And keep forward. Pull left. Tap. There you go. Now relax. Good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. Go and slow walk, but keep forward. Go and pick up your pace. Good. Tap. There you go. That's better. Go to slow turn. Good turn forward. Now, when you train her to do tap forward, tap, 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 tap,
I forgot
tap.
to tap, sorry.
It's okay. Pull left, tap. There we go. Did you do the turnaround method when you
Yeah.
trained to heel? So she's familiar with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Slow turn. Good turn. Slow walk, keep forward. Good. Slower, keep forward. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Good. Tap, 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 tap. There she goes. Good girl. Go ahead and slow turn. Good turn. Forward. Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump your collar 5 levels.
Bump the.
Yep. And I'm gonna have you get used to, when you're bumping it, keeping your movement.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I know in the beginning it's a lot of stuff to think about,
Yeah.
but once you get used to it, you'll be doing all this stuff no problem.
Got it.
Go ahead and slow. Slow turn. Good turn. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Tap, 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 tap.
Is it facing her at all?
Go ahead and bump at 5. There you go.
What was I at?
75, I think.
Yeah, okay. I went to 81.
That's
Is that
fine.
okay?
Slow walk here, keep forward. Tap, pull left, tap, 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 pull left, tap, tap. There you go. Good. Go ahead and slow turn. Good turn, forward. Tap, tap. Better. Slower. And stop. Now here, go ahead and shorten your leash. Shorten a bit more.
I don't think I'm short.
You could just pull it through. There you go, like that. And you're gonna hold right there. So the reason why I'm having you do that is when I deal with reactive dogs, is when you're moving, you're giving slack when you have the capacity to. So you have plenty of space here, right? Giving that slack allows her to make mistakes of getting ahead of you. It shows us whether or not she's paying attention. So she has the clear length of the leash to do so,
Yeah.
right? But when we're stationary, if I have a reactive dog, I then shorten it because now I have your attention. So if somebody like ran by with their dog and you and like obviously I'm gonna let you know, but somebody else went at me. So then if something were to happen, she's not gonna get far. So you're limiting range of motion.
Yeah.
The moment we start walking again, I get the slack down. Now we're walking. So a couple of things here. Again, size does not dictate the remote.
Okay.
Now, there could be a couple things here. One, I don't think so, but a potential. A dog's stress levels will override the
Okay.
okay?
And I think she's probably a little stressed here. She hates riding in cars. heart attacks.
Sure, all those things like kind of stacking up.
Uh-huh.
But as you condition her more, the brain becomes more receptive to it. We should start to see that number go down.
Okay.
Right? I, however, don't think that's the case. Two, it could be just her fur, because when the fur gets in between the probes, that's the buffer. So you could be at 100, but because of her fur, she's not feeling 100. She's feeling like 50.
Yeah.
Okay, and that happens. That's not uncommon. Okay. The next thing would be she's just physically tougher than you would anticipate for a small 20-something pound dog. Okay, so time will tell. Now, if she happens to be a physically tough dog, kind of,
Sorry,
but not
got
really.
it
I
on
say
camera.
fuck off. That happens to me. I like, I used to work on both, so I just
Okay.
So it's not that you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's that she needs more power. So we don't go into this expecting this is going to be an issue, right? But this is why I tell people to wait 2 weeks. So what I would suggest is in this coming week, we're going to get a lot of feedback, okay? As long as you keep the system clean, did you get this on Amazon?
Yeah.
You should be able to return it, okay? And then you would just order a higher power collar because the output is different.
I actually ordered it though like 2 months ago.
From Amazon?
Yeah, because when we had our first meeting, I don't know if we'll be able to return
Oh,
it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I bought it like right away and then we postponed it a little bit. So I will be able to return it.
Okay,
Well, should I get the adapter and see if that'll help, that metal adapter you were saying?
potentially, but I'm going to say it's most likely because one way or another, with the dog with this kind of coat, I can get the contact. Okay, I can get it done. If it was like a Samoyed, I'm like, okay, that's a lot of fur to deal with,
Yeah.
right? But here, I'm leaning more towards she may just be more physically tough than we anticipated. Okay, so if that's the case, as long as you keep the system clean,
Okay.
what we can do is I carry dog collars.
Okay.
Is we can just do a trade-in
Okay.
and then swap for a higher power one. The only thing is the higher power one's going to be a bigger box. Okay. Again, her behavior dictates all this stuff. If even though she's physically tough, this resolves all your reactivity stuff, then I don't care.
Okay.
The problem would be, okay, I'm at 90 just for heel, and then when I see a skateboarder, I only have 37 more levels, and now obviously that intensity is going to be higher.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to get an issue, but we'll figure all that out as we go.
I mean, I'll be honest, she's acting very calm. She normally is very all over the place.
Sure.
So I can tell that she can tell something's different, but I don't know.
Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah. The only thing is I fly out Wednesday morning. Next Sunday, I already told Maria that next Sunday I'm in Park City, so we'll have to postpone till the following Sunday. So then I'll have to get more work in then because I'm not going to train my dog babysitter.
Right.
So I'll do this up until Wednesday morning,
Okay.
and then all next week
Okay.
I'll get it. So
Okay.
is that okay? Okay. I mean, I don't have a choice. Sorry, I have to go out for work.
So that's what's going to determine what she's going to need. Behaviorally, as long as she's doing great, we're fine. If she's being reactive and you're at 127 and she's like, yeah, this is nothing to me, she needs more output. Yeah, but yeah, this is not uncommon. It does happen. Like I said, I had that other dog that is, of course, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, she's like 15 pounds. So her number's 8.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, so now
Now we're good.
the reason why I asked you had you train her with the turnaround method is because how quickly she picks up on it,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So there's already some familiarity there. So we may have to work a little bit harder because what we're trying to teach her is that when she feels the collar, it needs to come to this side. So when we're doing this, most people, when they train the heel, will yank the dog or remote the dog to bring them back, right? So they'll say no and remote them or yank them to bring them back here. And you'll see the dog move backwards and you'll see the dog move to person, but then 5 seconds later, they're pulling again, right? And the issue with that method is that the dog does not understand that passing the human is a bad thing, so to speak. Okay, they can't process that, it's complicated. That's why the turnaround method is effective. So if I go the opposite way, she feels the collar, and she thinks, I don't like this, she's turns around, she's like, oh, mom's going that way. She catches up and it disappears. She's like, oh, that's weird. She passes you again. It turns on. She's like, it's back. I don't like it. She goes, oh, mom's going that way. She catches up and it disappears. Right? So she's thinking, hey, every time I feel this, mom is always doing something different. And when I come to her left side, everything goes away.
Yeah.
So it's showing her to target the left leg. That's why when she would go to your right side, you would pull and tap to tell her right side is not action. You want to be at the left side. Okay? When she was lagging, and I was having you tap, and a few times I saw her move that to the left leg, I go, good, that's what I'm looking for. I just want to make sure that when she feels the collar, she's learning here. Okay? So there has to be an answer the dog understands on how to turn off the pressure. Okay, so that's why going opposite is so important. So the turnaround method is very effective, especially if you're using aversives. The issue is if you're using like a star mark and or a prong collar, the dog can do the heel, but then when the stimulus comes into play, like the skateboard, stress overrides the heel. But here we have intensity. So with the prong collar, you could yank as hard as you can and give a 10, but you can go no further than 10. That's the limitation of the tool.
Yeah.
This goes to 107.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's what?
For her not to even pay attention to this stuff is very odd.
Oh. But that's what all this is for. Like, this is how this works. Is now she's going, wait a minute, baby exists?
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Because now you're able to match the dog,
Yeah.
pending the behavior, and that's why we're able to get shifts in their action.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're making her more so concerned about you. And she's like, for whatever reason right now with mom, when I pass her up, if I'm not walking beside her, if I'm not sitting beside her, this thing comes back and I don't like it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I do what she wants, it goes away.
So pay attention.
Exactly. So we're not looking to like target the problem, make her be a bad dog, and then correct it, which is an approach. It's just not the first approach. I go, let's do this, review the heel with the e-collar, even though I know she knows it from before, and see what is it fixed. Okay, so then you're my feedback. So then in 2 weeks when I see you, you're like, hey Jesse, we saw like 10 random skateboarders, not a peep. But then we saw a skateboarder turn around the corner and she blew up. I'm like, yeah, I'm sick.
So I think my thing is I want to make sure that I press it at the correct time.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. So do I
This
press
has,
it at all? Like when do I press it?
you press it when she gets out of position,
Okay.
right? So so right now, you see her right shoulder?
Yeah.
See how it's parallel to your left leg?
Yeah.
That is the perfect heel position, both when you're stationary and in motion, okay? So when you're walking with her, if her shoulder were to be here, that's technically tapping.
So that was tap
And
and back.
turn.
Oh, and turn.
Yeah, tap and turn, okay? Always tap and turn.
Always tap and turn.
Yes,
Oh,
when you have
okay.
capacity to.
Okay.
I understand, like in the South Loop, there might be people behind you,
Yeah.
right? So if you're like, oh
I'll
crap,
still do it.
it's crowded, right? You can. Otherwise, in that moment, you can Band-Aid tap to bring her back to your side. But the moment you get the space, you would turn,
Yeah.
bring her to you, okay?
That girl is cute.
I know. She's walked by like 8
She
times.
wants to say hi or something. Yeah.
So, yes. So here, if she's at your right side, you hold your left tap to bring her to your left side.
Okay.
If she's, and I give dogs a 1 foot pocket, 1 foot to the left, 1 foot back, no distance forward.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your bubble. So if she's back here, like she was earlier, you would tap, she should come up.
Okay.
If she's over here and we tap, she should come into the side.
Okay.
Okay, we always want to see the tap brings her to this one particular spot.
Okay.
So you're only tapping when she gets ahead of you or is outside of that 1 foot bubble there. Okay? Otherwise, if she's being fine, like right now she's sitting, right? Let's say she got up, technically you could correct that. Okay? Right now, because we're just focusing on the heel, I'm not going to worry about it, but we're going to start adding in remote some more things. Okay? Questions on any of that stuff. So timing, I know a lot of trainers stress timing, isn't the biggest thing. Okay? Remote collar gives you a lot of grading. Okay? It's just now, let's say she was reactive, she stops being reactive, and then 10 seconds later the e-collar comes in, well then yes, that's obviously late.
Wrong time.
Okay, yes. But at any point during the activity, you can kick in with the consequence. Ideally, we want to be as soon as possible, but it doesn't matter how soon you kick in, it is the number appropriate to the behavior. Okay? So if you're at 15 and she's blowing up barking and you tap 100 times, it doesn't matter what you do, 15 is not enough. But if I come in at 45, 10 seconds into her barking, she's like, oh crap, what was that?
Yeah.
The next time she's going to think, well, I don't want 45 again.
Yeah.
She's still going to deter the behavior. Okay? So Don't worry about timing as long as it's not blatantly wrong. You're perfectly fine because it makes you worry about too many things. Okay? Don't worry about overusing it. People think like, am I going to overcorrect myself? No. Dogs thrive in black and white situations. Okay?
I think my hardest thing is going to be not correcting
With the leash.
Yeah.
Especially with prong, it's always like a lot of tactic communication. And this one, you're going to find yourself doing less and less every walk as long as you're at the appropriate level. And that's how it's supposed to work. It's not supposed to feel like constant management. It's supposed to feel like we're making progress and I'm using this less and less every day.
Yeah.
Okay? Because she's becoming more aware of it and she's respecting the tool and she's thinking, well, like 15 sucks, so I don't want to do that behavior again. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay? Other question. All right, so we're going to go to get that slack back. We're going to do another little walk back and forth here. And forward. Yep, that's all perfect. Turn, tap, tap. Yeah, there we go. That was good.
Should I tap now or?
Yeah, go ahead and give a tap here. Tap, tap. There you go. Good. Tap, tap. Pull to your left. There you go. Good. Yep, you got it. Turn. You got it. Good. Forward. Tap. Keep forward.
Too much slack.
You're good. Keep forward. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Light pull to the left. Tap. There she goes. Good. And relax. So you want just enough leash to give her direction, not so much, not.
This leash keeps twisting on me.
Just turn it inside. There you go. If you turn the ring to the inside, it'll help prevent it from going on the outside.
Okay, and it's on
The top.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Forward. Give a little bit of slack here. There you go. Better. That's better. There you go. Now slow turn. Good turn. Forward. That's okay. That's good. So she's still within that 1 foot bubble here. Tap left. Yep. Good. Good turn. Tap. 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 Good. Pull left. Tap. There she goes. Good girl. She actually started to correct right when you're about to pull to your left.
It's hard sometimes to see what's going on.
You'll get used to it. And slow turn. Good. Now keep forward. Yep. Now slow walk. Keep forward. And then stop. Good. What you're going to do now is you're going to take 5 big slow steps.
You better know this. We do this a lot.
Okay. Good. Very good. Okay. So here, if you look at her body language, what does it tell you?
I think, like, oh fuck, calm. She's calm right now, but I just think she's like, oh, I gotta give in. Oh wow.
Right. She's a bit concerned. Like she's licking her lips. She's got her ears back.
Yeah.
Eyes are passive. A little bit of heavy breathing. All that is concern.
Okay.
Okay. That's healthy. People think bad about it or they feel bad about it. But I was like, if the dog is not concerned about what we're doing or what they're doing, we're not going to help address the behavior. Get tender. See how I redirected her?
I felt her body.
Yeah. So right there, you just disagreed with her. So she went from this, what's going on, to this, right? So that's why the heel is important, because now it's giving her a reference point. Okay. So your leg is here, right? This is what she's supposed to be paying attention to. Tap. Oh, right. This is what I should be focusing on, right? So there has to be a very clear answer for the dog to turn off pressure and to understand how to turn off pressure. That's why the back and forth stuff is so important. Okay? So they get a lot of people, Jesse, my dog already knows how to heel. Like, well, if we know how to heel, then we'll teach her.
Yeah.
Right? So now that we have a tool that can be concerning to her, you should start seeing shifts in behavior. So like right now you're like, well, she's not on the ground, she's not like kind of all over the place. Because now she's thinking, well crap, 80 sucks. I don't like 80. What do I gotta do to to avoid 80.
Does it actually hurt, or is it just like tens on your back, like you're a chiropractor? Okay.
That is literally a miniaturized tendon.
Okay, that's what I figured it was.
So it's not a current running through the body or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like a muscle contraction. Which have you tested on yourself?
I haven't, but I've had tens on my back. So.
If you just put on your hand, you press the button, you go up. You just feel it lightly go up and become more intense as you go higher. But also at the same time, it only hurts according to the dog's sensitivity level. So I could put this on my pit, who's 60 pounds, and she would probably yell.
Yeah.
But she's not. Okay. So
She is just going for it. And she stares at her too. Like it's like every test. Did you pay that little kid?
No. Here, kid, be a distraction for me. So what we're hoping for now is transferring this to your home setting, right? So now what we do is when you go on your walks, what I suggest going forward is you can have your setup, go out, let her potty first, and move. You're gonna start at 15 and then do that exercise that we did earlier. 15, tap, 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 and no response. 20, tap, 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 25, tap, tap. And every 3 taps, if I don't see a response, I bump it by level. Okay? So now we're at 80. Don't be surprised if you're up in that range, right? Because you're like, that's what I'm getting of it.
Yeah.
And then once you feel like, so what I'm looking for typically is a big response, like, whoa, but she didn't give us that the second time. Remember? Like on the 70, she was just like, and I went to 100 or something. She was like, no problem. So then when I started to,
like, I got this.
to look at is the intensity of the contraction. So you can see it where it goes like real subtle, so like this, right? And I'm like, all right, like that was a good solid contraction, you know. And I was like, we're gonna start there, which was like that 70-75 range. You would then begin your walk. Now that you're on the walk, there's no sipping, there's no peeing, there's no pooping, there's no pulling, none of that nonsense that you're exercise.
Yep.
So now when you walk with her, every turn and tap when she passes you is one correction. Okay? Or if she slows down and you tap her to speed her up and she slows down again, that is again one correction. Okay? So every 3 corrections, I bump the collar by level. Okay? So
I'm surprised she's not trying to. She's a little weird about kids and then children sometimes.
sure. No, she's completely neutral right now.
Yeah, completely.
So once you're in the activity of the healing exercise, every 3 corrections you would bump it 5 levels. Okay? Until you then
Is it okay if she lays down?
if she lays down, it's not okay. If she sits like that, that's okay.
Okay.
So like let's say you keep bumping it every 3 corrections and you finally land at like 85. And then you notice at 85, she's not reacting to the skateboard, she's not pulling towards anything, she's walking at you, she's not having problems, she's stopping with you, she's running with you. And that tells us at that moment, 85 is the number. The next time you go for a walk, hit her out the potty, you set your number to 10 or 15, work your way back up again.
It's like you said it would. It might not need to be as intense.
Correct.
Or weak.
Correct, potentially. Or it might be the same, okay? But that's why we're doing this. We want to find consistency. So when you come back the next time, and I'll ask you like, how'd it go? And you're like, you know, what we always started at 70, but we ended at 85, and at 85 she was always perfect and non-reactive. And I go, great, you should start your walk at 85 now.
Okay.
But maybe today and tomorrow the number is 85, but then the next day it's 60. And then 60 becomes your...
Sorry, this
It's
mosquito
okay, I know.
don't get me. I was just had a conversation about how I never had seen a mosquito in Chicago yesterday.
I know, here because of the rain, that's
Yeah, oh, totally.
but the number might go down to 60, and now 60 is your new consistent number. Okay, so we're going by her behavior and how she responds. So if like you're at 60 and she's being perfect, then it's just upwards that number. Okay? Other questions?
So let me just make sure I got this right. If there's something that's going on and she goes either in front of me or she gets outside the bubble or she's reactive, I hit this button and I turn.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, going forward for
If I can.
yes, going forward for reactivity stuff. If you see, like let's say you're walking with a skateboarder coming, my suggestion if you can, I know it sounds kind of weird with the setup, but like if you're over where there's sidewalk, grass curb, or at least on the sidewalk going more towards the curb, stepping to facing the side where the stimuli is, shorting your leash like I spoke to you about earlier, and then watching her. Okay, so you're already at your number, you look at it, I'm at 80, and there's a skateboarder starting to come, and if she starts to become reactive, you're gonna pull straight up and start tapping. And now, yep.
I pressed the button, was I not supposed to? Okay. I saw her twitch.
Yeah. If you see her about to be reactive, start tapping and pull straight up.
Go straight up.
Okay. Up de-escalates the brain. Back or up and back escalates the brain. So go ahead and bring your leash on the inside here. Move it over her so to turn it. Okay, like that.
I think that, oh man, it's twisted again. There. Okay. Perfect.
Good.
Okay.
Now pull up. You see how high you have to go? Shorten your leash. And now pull up. See that difference? So that's why we do that. So you can shorten as much as you need to, so that when you pull up, it's immediate contact, as opposed to keeping it slack.
Yeah.
So the slack is when you're walking and you have open space, right? And you're like, okay, cool, I can do this. Like let's say you have to walk past a scenario where you know she might be reactive, but you don't have the capacity to step aside. You would then shorten your leash, exactly, give some space, up and tap if you have to correct her while you're in motion, and then give slack back once you pass the stimuli. Okay? But if you see it well enough ahead of time, we always step to the side, to the curb, shorten the leash.
And would you just stand there and watch? Okay.
Because we're looking for where the trigger is. Okay. Up. Okay. Now, good. So a lot of dogs, will start here at this kind of window, but it's not here, most likely here, right in the front. Okay. So if we notice this goes away, but she always blows up right here, then we know we at least got this covered. We still got to work on this part here. Okay. So a lot of trainers will tell you don't make your dog sit when it comes to reactivity because it's harder for the dog.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's already hard for the dog as it is. Right? You see a skateboard and the dog just blows up. So what we're doing is, yes, the dog would fail, so to speak, because it's harder. They have to contain themselves while this stressor is passing, but it works to your advantage. Okay?
And that's normally what we do if we can't get out of the way or can't turn the other way. I didn't know what else to do other than if I could go the opposite way of the reactor, I would. Or if there's absolutely no way, because a lot of kids will sit at like that Chipotle there with their skateboard, and so I just would let her sit, trying to get her to calm down.
Sure. Except,
Damn, it crawled on me and then I threw it on my dog. It must have fell from the tree.
so like here, the difference is now you have something to stop it. That's the difference. Is you have something that can match her, pending we have appropriate power. That would be the only exception. And I'll know, because if you come back, you're like, hey, Jesse, she blew up 5 times, and I was at 127, camping, pulling up. She did not care. I go, you need to stop. Okay? Because I've not had a dog where I've not been able to stop the behavior as long as I had the appropriate power. Okay? So now, that's how we do it. We have to correct it. We have to teach her that barking at the speaker is not an option. She can look away from it. She can turn her back to it. She could look up at the sky. Anything but reactive. Okay? And a lot of times, like the focus thing, right? Like, look at me.
Yeah.
It's too complicated.
Yeah.
Like, I just tell the dog, look, I don't care what you do. You do 99 other things. Just can't believe it. Does that make sense? You're making it easier. You give them 99 other options as opposed to this one singular option that they can focus on me. Right? Well, not focus on me. Focus on anything you want. That's not.
That's so late. That's so bad.
Yeah. And the reason why you have to be strict about this.
Yeah, I was going to say, why do I?
Is because if she can choose to lay down when under command, she can choose to look at you.
Okay.
She can do the small things, she can do bigger things.
Would it be okay if you're sitting here and you tell her?
Yes, but you told her. So like, let's say you said break or free, whatever your release word is. Yep. So then when you said free, then technically she would be okay to lay down, but technically on free she'd also be okay to sit. Right? So it'd either be down, because you told her to, or I just reinforce the sitting position. And she's thinking like, oh crap, like mom is being restricted. Now I can't even lay down unless given permission.
Yeah.
But that's what changes
It
behavior.
changes it, yeah.
Okay?
So like right now, if I just hold her down, it's okay.
Yes. Now the other thing about this
Right now.
is if you down her,
And she doesn't.
well, if she does, what do you have to do in response?
Tap. No, wait, what do you mean? What do I have to do?
Yeah, so tell her to down.
Idgie, down. She's like afraid to lay down.
So most people, because she had enough slack when the dog was down, give slack.
Oh, gives that. Okay.
Right? But that's the problem.
Oh,
Because remember, when you're stationary, you want to anticipate what might happen.
a herd pulling.
Or
Right, you lost me there. Wait, if she is, ask the question again.
so if you're stationary, right? And like right now I'm having a conversation with you. I know what her triggers are, but maybe the other person doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's coming. You have too much slack now. So if she tries to lunge, she has all that. So take a step back. Take a step back. That's how far she can get with the lunge. So, okay?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is when you're stationary, I always do the sitting position because it works to your advantage.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Change the slack a little.
right. So we always want to have short slack in case she lunges, she's not going to get far. Okay. So go to pop her into a sitting position.
Should I pop her or just
Yeah,
tell
tell her to sit.
Okay, Idgie, sit.
And now relax. Now go to short your leash again. Okay. Now take a step back. Now she falls.
He's like, I got you, Bob.
There you go. So what I was trying to demonstrate is if you step back, you only go so far.
I know what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
But then if you give the slack, well now we can get so much further. That's the leverage she has to go. So by keeping it short, like at the sitting position, it puts you at the most advantage and control, immediacy. So in case you get caught off guard, oh, we're kicking in right away.
Yes.
Because the faster you kick in to stop the behavior, the better. You don't have to, but the better. Okay? So then she's thinking, well crap, I can't even be reactive for like a half a second. Because mom just kicks in right away and stops me and corrects me at 8. Okay? So now if you're in a setting where like you're stepped off in the grass or whatever, a skateboarder is not going to go to your grass. Right? As I go, okay, cool, I can give you the slack now because I'm not expecting to have any triggers in this current context. Okay? But most definitely if you're stepped aside for like a skateboard or something, you would not allow her to lay down. You want to keep that sitting position until it passes and then you go.
Okay.
If you step aside and like you know it's an area where there's no skateboarders trying to skate, or there's no other triggers that would set her off the reactivity, then you're fine as well. Okay? You know your dog better than I do. I just go by, I have a dog with reactivity and I have to figure out what all the stimuli are. So in that process, I'm gonna do this because no matter what happens, when it happens, I always have immediate control. And you're also setting up habits for yourself. Because so every time you step aside and you shorten the leash, what's gonna happen is one day she's gonna randomly blow off and you're just automatically shorten the leash to get control. As opposed, most people, when the dog becomes reactive, they tend to just pull back and they give the slack. And I've seen people on the streets where they're like holding the leash over here, and the dog's lunging and barking. I'm like, you know, just grab the leash right here and bring the dog in very easily. Same kind of concept. It's just you're building up this habit of always getting or regaining control.
Okay.
So if you're caught off guard, not a problem. You got control of it. Okay. Other questions?
No, I mean, I'm sure there's always going to be questions, but trying to just, I mean, the basics right now, I think knowing when to use this with, you know, her position.
Right. So going forward for this week, your homework is now when you go on your walks, you will now begin to always apply the remote component. Okay. Now, if it's a quick little potty break, you don't have to, but expect her to be reactive. Okay. Because remember, the e-collar stopping her because she's going to respect it because it's matching her intensity. The star mark collar or prong collar, she may not respect it because she not match her intensity. So even though you're using two aversives, if there's one that's by itself, she's not going to listen because it's not enough. Okay. Well, potty break first. The reason why I say potty break is because you can see how I like to apprehending that kind of concern right now. I don't want to kick in with pressure and then deter her from potty. Okay, so I always tell people ignore the dog in the beginning, even if there's reactivity, just like ignore it. Get to the potty zone, let it happen, and then get the exercise. Start at 15, work your way up. If you notice, you always keep going to those higher ranges of 8 in terms of the e-collar. You can go in jumps of 10. Okay. We're just going in jumps of 5 just in case. Yeah, and then you go like, nope, her number's always up there. You would then escalate the number faster. Okay?
I did have a question. I can't think of it. I forgot. I'll think of it in a second. So
Okay.
I was, because she can be sometimes she's a lot better in the elevator. I've worked with her a lot, but I probably will just use it. Oh, free time, play time. Like there's times that we go on our walks. Like walks does not include sniffing. okay to do while we're in this type
Yeah.
of process?
The only thing that matters is that you only use the tool for what we covered. So I wouldn't say, come and then try to tap her.
Yeah.
Yep. And that when you do your healing exercise, that you're actually reinforcing the
Okay.
That's the only thing that matters.
Okay.
You can continue the other stuff as you have been. It's just now when you're in the heal, you're going to apply these concepts
Okay.
and kind of just forget the old concepts.
Okay.
We're not using the word heal. What triggers the exercise is the tap. When she feels the contraction, she's going to go. And that's what tells her, now we're walking. We'll bring the heel in next class.
Okay.
Okay? So I want to make sure that you're using that e-collar as much as possible. Because since we're so sound-based, we tend to use the sounds more often than the tools.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's why dogs have issues, because people are repeating, and they're not using the tool. And that's what's going to help her get better.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah, this is a random question. It's not even on the calendar. People have said, like my door guy or my maintenance guy said to me, he's like, it's really weird when your dog sitter is at the house, she's not reactive to me. But when you are holding her, she's reactive. Is that like a protective? Or
So you give her something to protect.
okay. Because like if you even like when I tried to like even hand you the leash, she was like, oh, I want to be by my mom. She like too attached to me.
Yeah, that's attachment stuff.
Okay.
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 But yeah, that it happens all the time.
Okay. I figured like once she gets to know somebody, she's like, okay, bye mom, like I got
Sure.
you, but
Yeah, she's just a little bit of a shy, timid dog.
yeah.
Like there's some people that are like that too. That they're not just have a conversation with you right away. They need some comfort. I've had clients like that. Where I'll talk to them, they're kind of quiet, but then by the third class, like we're just having a conversation. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to know, like, I mean, I've read about her breed in general and how they're a little cautious of strangers and stuff, and just trying to like understand her personality because I'll take her to the groomers and she will freeze. She will not like move on the table for like an hour.
Yeah, sure.
And then
Probably makes it easier to groom.
yeah, and then when I come in, she gets really excited to see me, and she could have been with the groomer forever, and they tried to pet her, and she'll bark at me.
Yep.
It's like, okay, my mom's here now. Yeah, you're good. Peace
That's
out.
how that works.
Okay.
Dogs are either on or off. So there's either the thing that gives them, that empowers them to perform the behavior, or it's out of the picture and then they're just like on their own.
Okay. I thought I heard a skateboarder.
No.
I was like, do I hear one?
So this week, dogs learn better in smaller chunks, so 3 20-minute ones a day would be ideal.
3 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do more, but keep them short. Because the dog processes what's going on in between every walk.
Okay.
And then always starting at the low number, working your way up, and then just keeping tabs on what those consistencies are.
Okay.
If you like see a skateboarder and you pull up and you're tapping, she's being reactive, and you're at 95 and she's not stopping, the next time I see a skateboarder, I'd be at 100. Okay, you're building off of the previous failure.
Would you start pressing the button as the skateboarder's coming, or only if and when she reacts?
Exactly.
Okay.
So if like her ears perk up and you know that's reactivity, there.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for the full blown explosion.
Okay.
Yeah, any little cue that tells you this is going to be reactivity, that's where you attack. Because it's easier to stop a dog as they're escalating or at a more passive state than once they're full blown barking. Okay? So if you're at 95 and she looks and you tap her and she goes like this and it goes by, perfect. That's how it's supposed to work. If you tap her and she ignores it and you're tapping her and she's blowing up, that means 95 wasn't high enough for her behavior. Okay? So then the next time you see a skateboard, I'd always be at 100. And let's say you're at 100, same concept. You're trying to stop reactivity, she keeps going, but there's not enough. And then 5 the next time, keep building. But then maybe you hit 127. You're like, Jesse, I was at 127. She was going nuts. I go,
Then we need to switch it out.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So, yeah. I can tell she's maybe stressed a little right now.
But yeah, but she's actually not doing bad. She's doing good. Usually like I'll see like a lot of panting and salivating, very like wide eyes, heavy breathing. She's doing just fine. Her ears are back, her eyes are passive. We got a little bit of heavy breathing, but for the most part, she's just kind of like, all right, this is different now. Yeah, exactly. This is serious now. Like I gotta think about her life's choices right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is a very sensitive dog. Like if I yell at her, she knows like, Mom. So okay, perfect. Well, on that note, we're at time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So your homework, 3 walks a day, 20 minutes piece. starting low, working your way up.
Okay.
Keep tapping your numbers. If you see a potential trigger, don't try to avoid it. Step aside. So
Okay.
it might be a shitty week or two. Okay. And then when you come back, because this way we'll know by the next class, like, yeah, we need another caller, or everything's working like it's supposed to.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate it.
No problem. And then when you're done, you just cue free.
Right now I can just do it.